A lot of stylists, they've said things to me like, yeah, I would love to be able to work from home. I would love to be able to not be behind the chair either as much or at all, but I have no idea like where I would even start. Like I was talking to one of the stylists there. We just got on the topic of like what I did, and she was just asking, she's like, I have no idea how to do that. I would love to be able to work from my laptop. I would love to be able to like work from anywhere. And I was like, that's what I do. Like so many people are ready for a new chapter. They're ready for something that's like different for the season of life that they're in now, or they want an extra revenue stream, but they don't know what that is or how to get started. And there are a lot of people coming into this industry constantly. This is a relatively high turnover industry, and people need education. So if you have skills and expertise that you could use to help somebody else get a result, you could make a digital product. Those things are classes, ebooks, courses. Like a class could just be, a 45-minute, this is how to open a salon suite, or this is how I do my books, or this is how to do like an old money blonde. Like you can teach technique, you can teach business, you can teach mindset, you can teach all of those things. Like whatever you feel like your kind of zone of genius is, what feels right to you. So have you ever thought like, I would love to have a class or an ebook or have something out where I'm actually helping other people in my industry, sharing my knowledge, and I'm getting paid for it? But then it's like, well, yeah, how do I start? None of it's hard. I can tell you that. None of it's hard. What we did behind the chair, what you guys still do behind the chair, is harder than anything that you'll have to do. But if you're not tech savvy, if you are not on the computer a lot, there is a little bit of a learning curve, because let's be real, you're learning an entirely new skill set, right? And it's awesome to learn something like that, because if you're thinking like, this is what I might want to do, how do I start? I have a class called the Digital Product Blueprint that'll show you like step by step how to make a class, and it goes granular. Like this is how to like push this button in Canva to do this, to make that. And you can really, after that class, I think, like decide if this is something that you like or that you want to keep doing. That's a relatively small investment to see like if this is something you want to do like for the next chapter. What makes you credible with other stylists? There's a lot of skilled stylists and a lot of people pivoting to go online. Absolutely, especially after 2020. I've wanted to do this since like 2015 or 2016. I wanted that freedom, that location freedom. And then car accident, I made it really hard for me to work as fast as I used to without like a lot of pain. So that's when I started like looking into ideas. How would this work? What would it look like? If you're teaching people what you know, your credibility comes from, did you get the result for yourself, right? Like, are you already getting, a lot of new client referrals every month because of this? Or do you know how to set your prices and do your books? Or are you teaching like technique? Do you want to show a very specific haircut? Do you want to show all of the things that you know that you could teach? And if you're good at it, you start there, because everybody starts from zero. It's so easy. Get in your own head with something like this and be like, someone else is doing this. Maybe I shouldn't. Am I good enough? Everybody has imposter syndrome. I've seen other educators, and not a lot, but some that are just like toxic, that have been put out videos and saying things like, oh, everybody's going online now, to teach. I've been teaching for so long, and if you're going to start, no, it's hard work. Well, yeah. But what bugs me when I see that is, they're saying it in a way that's like, I got this. We don't need you. I've got it under control. And it's like, there's room for everybody. How is it profitable? I make more money now than I did when I was behind the chair. And I made good money behind the chair. It took me about 18 months from the time that I started my podcast and I started my Instagram until I started making like consistent, like 10K months. But I started my podcast and the Instagram account when AJ was a baby. I'm going to do what I can within my bandwidth right now, which is not much. So I was literally making the podcast and making content, and I didn't have an offer. I wasn't selling anything. And because I didn't have the time or the headspace to do it. Then I made a couple of classes. They didn't sell a lot. I was building up an audience slowly. And the first time I had a 10K month, had between 10 and 12,000 followers, two $27 ebooks, one $47 bundle for both ebooks. And this was in 2021. I was selling just simple ebooks because I was like, I'm just gonna start doing this, and I'm just gonna start, you know what I'm trying to say. And I will continue as I have the bandwidth to do more. Like AJ's in school. I can do a lot more now than I could before, but I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars before he even started school. This is not like make money while you sleep. You never have to work. It's totally passive. You totally have to work. You have to learn a lot of stuff. You are going to cry ugly Kim Kardashian tears at your computer and feel super frustrated and second guess yourself and feel imposter syndrome all the time. It's just because everyone does, and it's totally normal. All that stuff happens. You're learning a whole new skill set, taking your knowledge and then using that knowledge and presenting it in a way so somebody else can get a result is a skill. It's not passive income, but compared to what you're doing now behind the chair, it's more passive, should I say. Passive income is like set it and forget it. You don't have to do anything. If I don't market my stuff, nobody's going to buy anything. I'm not going to make any money. It's literally that simple. It's easier on my body. I can work when I want to. Have there been times when I've been sitting at like my dining room table for 10 hours a day, like barely getting up to pee because I'm so deep in creating something new? Absolutely. Have there been full weeks or 2-week periods where I barely did anything except throw out a couple of reels and just repost old content that I had with good call to actions to sell and still made $2,000 to $3,000 in a week where I've basically been doing nothing? Yes. So it's like anything else. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. But even if you're just like, I might like another revenue stream. I just see there's a lot of stuff out there of people like saying like, oh, buy this course and then you can sell it, and then, you know, digital products. And there's a lot of like terms floating around that I think can confuse people about what it actually is. What I teach in the digital class blueprint, which is I have it available on its own, and it's also part of the ultimate creator bundle. It takes you from tapping into your zone of genius and really figuring out like what you want to teach, what you would be good at teaching, to helping you come up with a topic, outline your class, actually get granular, make the slide deck for the class, or if you're teaching technique, like getting ready to like set it up and shoot it and to get it organized so that you know what to shoot and how to shoot, and then like finishing it, getting it ready. I'm a huge believer in using ChatGPT. It doesn't mean that you're telling ChatGPT like write a class for me and then copy and pasting it and like using that as like a cookie cutter generic piece of content. You're using it to help you brainstorm, to help you outline, to help you come up with a script, and then you look at it and you edit it to your voice and tone and put what you know is right in there. Because I could go into ChatGPT and have it make, and this is the example I always use for context. I could go into ChatGPT and say, I'd like to create a class for photographers, for like new photographers that want to shoot weddings or whatever, like, and show them how to use their camera. Write me an outline for this. And then it'll give me the outline and I can start having it write the slides and everything. I don't know what it's telling me is right because I'm not a photographer. I might know what it's saying about the settings if that's right, but I don't know enough. So it could be telling me all wrong things and I wouldn't know. So if you're not already an expert in what you're doing and you're using ChatGPT, it's not the same thing. It's literally, you're using it to help you work smarter, not harder. You're keeping it authentic. You're keeping it on brand. You're keeping it super original. It's just like, why would you do math without a calculator? That's where we are with ChatGPT now. I've been so deep in this, teaching how to make prompts and trying different things like since it came out, which was not this past November, but the November before. That's what the first part of the class is. It's like type here, do this. I even have you use ChatGPT to help you figure out exactly what your zone of genius is. And I've condensed the prompts to make it like super quick for you. So you're just going to be like, everyone that I've ever given some of this stuff to look at, they look at and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because it is. And it makes it so easy. But have you seen people talking smack about ChatGPT saying like, oh, you don't need this, or oh, it's super generic, or you shouldn't use it? Because I've seen that a lot, and it irritates me so much because the people that are saying that just don't know how to actually use it correctly. If you are interested in creating a digital product and monetizing your knowledge that you have in the beauty industry, now is the time. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are starting to get into it, but there was nobody before. When I started on my own as independent, there was no education for independent stylists. I can remember going to a Redken event in Orlando. I think it was in like 2012. And Sam Villa was there and he did this cute little technique with like a pink, like peekaboo thing. I remember watching it and going, this is really cute. But if I didn't have an assistant, there's no way that I could do this little thing on somebody with this many steps and like charge them what I would need to charge them to make it worth my time to do it. It was all set up so like you do this, you have your assistant do that, you know, you start your other client, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. I'm not interested in this at all. Like, I am working by myself. I don't even want to really double book anymore. There was no education out there about that. There was nobody. Instagram didn't even have video back then, but there was nobody saying like, you don't have to double book if you don't want to. Depending on where you are in your journey and what kind of education that you're consuming, I feel like it's out there. It wasn't before, but ultimately there's plenty more room for everybody. There really is a lid for every pot. You can niche down. You can speak to exactly who you want to serve, and how many licensed cosmetologists there are in the country. The number was like astronomical. And every single person I've done, either that's in my mastermind or that I've done group coaching with, or I've done one-on-ones with, and they want to talk about going beyond the chair and creating something, I always ask them like a bunch of questions, but like, one of the first things they'll say is everyone else they know, like their friends, their peers, their people locally, they're helping them do things. Like, how many of you that are watching this, I'm going to use books as an example because it's easy for me. Like, how many of you that are thinking maybe I would teach something about pricing, or could name off the top of your head 5 other peers, coworkers, people in your suite that have no idea how to price their services, right? Like, for every one person that knows X, Y, or Z, there's hundreds of thousands that do not. It's wild. And here, I'm gonna drop another little juicy nugget on you right now. I have found that people that invest in education continually invest in education. So there's so much room for genuine, authentic people who really want to help other people. There is so much room. And there could be 5 people with the same pricing information book, but their branding is different. Their personality is different. Some people are talking to just suite owners that do extensions. Some people are talking to estheticians. There's just so much room to really, really create. And it's only going to make the industry better. The more education we makes it better. I have a class called the Digital Class Blueprint. The link is in my bio. Or just go to JenKenny, JenKenny.com, and you can find the information about it there.